You're a demon, apparently. Chapter 7. Numbness spread over your entire body. Your stomach fell to the soles of your feet as you processed the empty space before you. Questions flooded your mind. Where did Amber go? Maybe she left to get food or something? Maybe she'd be back soon? Would she even come back at all? You shook yourself out of your fugue state. Sitting there like a lump isn't exactly gonna help. As you got up, your hand painfully scraped against the wall. Taking a closer look, you noticed the size of the cave didn't exactly look natural. Being so tired the night before, you hadn't noticed the rough walls. You weren't a geologist, but you guessed the natural cave would be smoother. However, this cave looked like it was carved out artificially. Did Horseyland have a mining operation here? As you investigated the spot where Amber had slept, you noticed something. It was about half as long as your index finger and a yellowish white. As you picked it up, you noticed that it was hard and smooth. One end looked like it had been broken off, and the other tapered down to a razor point. Your blood ran cold as you realized what it was. It was a fang. And a big one, at that. Something had taken Amber, something big and with teeth. You felt panic start to set in, but you managed to force it back. Losing your cool wouldn't help her. There wasn't any blood, so you were sure Amber was alive when she was taken. Whatever had taken her had probably ambushed her while she was asleep, which had likely earned a startled hoof to the jaw. You weren't sure if Amber had escaped her assailants or not, so that left you with the problem of deciding where to look for her. Out in the canyon or deeper in the cave. Stepping outside, you blink against the midday sun. There was no sight of Amber, or whatever had attacked her in sight, and all you found was a hefty branch that had fallen from the bluffs above. Well, it was better than nothing. Looking back to the cave, you noticed a faint glimmer. As you moved closer, you saw a shining arrow reflecting the sunlight. You hadn't seen it earlier because it looked like glass or something, and it only reflected a certain way. The arrow pointed deeper into the cave, so that's where you decided to go. Light from the entrance quickly faded, leaving you in the darkness, alone with your thoughts. Whatever had taken Amber was likely a predator of some kind. Teeth like that weren't for munching carrots, so why wasn't there any sign of a fight? There was no blood, no fur, only a single broken tooth and a weird arrow. And why hasn't it come after you? You hadn't woken up when she was attacked right next to you, so you would have been an easier target. So why had it seemingly dragged a magic horse that had already kicked one of its teeth out? Like most things in this world, it didn't make any sense. Ahead of you, you saw light around a corner. Erring on the side of caution, you took your time and peeked around the corner. You saw Amber, alive and well. Or, kind of. She seemed to be alright physically, but her situation was far from preferable. A large metal yoke was hooked around her neck, which in turn connected to a mining cart of some kind. A crudely made muzzle blocked most of her face, but from her eyes you could tell that she was frightened. You were about to go and help her, but the sound of approaching voices coaxed to reconsider.
You sure Pony can't speak?
One voice squeaked.
Yes, no chance of ear hurt this time.
A second replied.
Good. Kick hurt mouth enough.
A third growled. From the far end of the cavern, 3 large figures led a crowd towards Amber. It took you a minute to make them out, but when you did, well, up to this point you had seen quite a few things, most of which you would have previously deemed impossible. Magic talking horses, rainbow lasers, and amalgamate chaos deities, to be specific. Taking all that into account, what you saw shouldn't have been too much of a surprise. Perhaps it was just the sheer weight of all you had witnessed up to this point, and what little patience you had left was broken by this comparatively simple thing. Standing in a large chamber ahead of you were dogs. Not normal dogs, no, that would be too simple for this godforsaken place. No, they were huge. Most of them were 7 feet tall, some of them even bigger. The tallest was at least 8. They all had big teeth, big claws, and were outrageously muscular. Some even had plate armor, while the leaders wore leather vests, because why the fuck not? You stood there for a moment. Your eye twitched. At first you thought it was out of shock, but slowly you realized that you were just done. Out of everything you had endured up to this point, this was the last straw. Before you realized, you found yourself striding into the chamber. One of the dogs noticed you and howled in alarm. In seconds, you were surrounded by spears. A bit cliché, but the fact that they were being held by snarling anthro dogs bucked the trend a bit. You managed to meet the gaze of a concerned Amber before the three leaders shoved their way to the front of the pack.
Who are you?
The embodiments of the Napoleon complex barked.
What are you?
Snarled the one that looked like Smeagol in a fursuit.
Why you here?
Furry Boulder with arms roared. Wow, okay. Way to spray. You said flatly as you wiped spittle off of your face. Well, I'm a human, and I'm here for my friend that got chained up over there, and my name is—
Little Pony is ours!
All three howled. You really like yelling, don't ya? You replied as your ears rung.
Last pony very useful. Found gems, pulled cart.
Tiny yapped.
But it always whined, made ears hurt.
Smeagol whined ironically.
This one can't find gems, but can still pull.
Bruno grumbled. The three of them crowded around Amber, staring you down smugly. Amber looked uncomfortable.
And Little Pony can't talk.
The three Mutketeers laughed. As they laughed, you took stock of the situation. Things looked— well, they looked like shit. You were surrounded by giant dogs, each of which could easily tear you to shreds in seconds. Honestly, the spear seemed superfluous, all things considered. The odds of you fighting your way through them, saving Amber, and escaping, all while armed with a dumb branch, were basically zero. Good going, genius. Bruno was suddenly in your face, glaring.
Wait, you were with Little Pony. Why didn't we see you?
He snarled. Smeagol smacked Tiny.
You found Pony, why didn't you see thing?
He accused.
It was dark, it looked like rocks.
Tiny growled, and the two began rolling in the dirt, snapping and snarling.
Not important now.
Bruno said, and the two cantankerous canines froze mid-brawl.
He's right. Now we have Little Pony.
Tiny began.
And new thing.
Smeagol finished. The three howled, and three of the dogs disappeared into a tunnel. A moment later they returned, carrying another set of a yoke, cart, and muzzle. The lupine leaders began dancing around, laughing and singing.
More work, more work, more work!
Yeah, fuck that. Maybe they'd smack you around before slapping you in chains, or maybe they'd just kill you. If the former happens, you'd be able to wait for a better chance to make a move. And if it was the latter, at least your problems would be over. The more rational part of your brain was screaming to let things play out and wait, but another side won out. The side that was just tired. Tired of running. Tired from a horrible and just plain weird night's sleep. Tired of just waiting for things to get better. And most of all, sick and tired of the non-stop train of bullshit that you've been forced to endure since you got to this stupid place. So as the dogs approached you with their tools of oppression, you raised your branch high with a mighty roar, ready to do your best to smash the closest dog's teeth out. And then the branch slipped from your grasp. All eyes watched in silence as it sailed across the room and clattered to the floor. Silence fell. Of course. Of fucking course. The amount of bad luck a person needs in order for their last stand to be humiliating has got to be absurd. Oh man, I feel so bad for Anon. Anyway, let's get on to our lucky donators. Top donators: Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, Darkside, and Ponyman. CourierCruz CI, Strix, Zar630, Delta Omega, RuneTyth 9852, dospo, Ryanny Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Rowland, Secret Moon, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brethren Morjid, Cerberus, Goulash Eating Hazar, Ron and Wandering, Enderai63, Random Person Man Guy, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David E. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, Teal'c Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Raquel, Mr. ECU, and Leslie Prickett. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Live life to the fullest, and make sure that if you have a last stand, make it count.